Morning, folks. Happy Thursday to you. If you're checking out this video today, you're in for a big interview. This is a good buddy of mine that I've known for a few years through a mastermind group, high-level mastermind group. And I got to say, there's very few people who really kind of impress me. I'm not saying that I'm like some kind of, superstar that needs to be impressed. But the fact is, I come across hundreds and hundreds of entrepreneurs, business owners, real estate investors throughout my career. And this guy is impressive. At that very, very young age, he's done crazy, crazy things, raised huge private money, built and created a development company and a fix and flip company, and now runs a successful wholesale team up in Ohio. So I want to welcome to the show my good buddy, Austin Rutherford. What's up, Austin?
What's up, brother, man? I'm excited to be here. Appreciate you having me on.
I'm excited to have you, man. I mean, look, I mean it 100%, the things I just said. I think it's so impressive because, you really got into this game when you were, what, 20?
I bought my first house when I was 19, started flipping when I was 21.
19. I can't tell you, how many 45, 55-year-olds that I talk to in a given week that just don't have the guts to go take action and do their first deal. And you did that at the tender age of 19. You were practically just still in high school. It's unbelievable.
Right. Yeah. I mean, year and a half out of high school.
Where did you get that? Where did you get that motivation or that determination, do you think, that initially set your fire to go do this?
Yeah. I mean, my dream was always the NBA. So, I was working, working out 16 hours a day, and fell out of love with that dream and just kind of felt lost. So I started reading a lot of books, self-development, improvement books. Think and Grow Rich. I read that when I was 18. Changed my life forever. So for me, I've always hustled, but as far as real estate, it just came from books and education. Everything I read that talked about success, everyone was like, well, I got real estate. I got real estate. I got real estate. I was like, well, real estate's going to be the way I get rich.
I love it, man. And it's so funny because literally my 7-year-old was just sitting on my lap. I'm sure she's probably going to come and, barge in while I'm doing this call again. And, I have books all over my office, and she's like, she's into the selling thing right now. She wants to sell lemonade because she wants to buy an RV, like a motorhome. This kid's crazy. Travel, and she wants to have whatever. So we're sitting here, and she's like, I want to sell lemonade to get an RV. And then she's sitting in my office, and she's like, well, we could sell your stuff and get the RV. And I'm like, honey, you don't realize something else to pay for the stuff that's in here. But we're talking books. I got books everywhere, right? And I said to her, she's like, you don't need these books anymore. Right. The interesting thing is, I pick up books that have been in this office for 10 years and I read a chapter and I put them back. Right. I think it's so powerful, just that simple, self-development of reading. Right. And you're saying, it's changed your life.
I mean, it's night and day. They say that people, if you look at the biggest TV in a house, they're normally the brokest. Look at the biggest bookshelf in a house, they're usually the richest. So reading's a necessary evil. I hated reading going to high school, but it's just something you got to do.
And it's funny, now we have all the TVs on the wall, we don't even use them.
Agreed, bro.
So I love it. But and again, some of the staples I think is crazy. Is something like Think and Grow Rich. How many people just haven't even read that book? It just blows my mind that book hasn't been read yet. But I don't want to get fixated on that. Tell us a little bit about from that first deal. Give me the first 12 months of your journey in a 5-minute clip.
So 12 months sucked. So I bought the duplex when I was 19. I was making $1,000 a month, but I was like, I got it. So I put $35,000 down as a 19-year-old just from hustling back in the day. And I was like, oh shit, it took me 19 years to save 35 grand. I got to make money faster.
Yeah.
To continue to buy rental properties. So I got my real estate license, sold a few houses, hated it. It was terrible. And then I met a mentor of mine and taught me how to flip houses. And then from the day I decided I was going to flip houses to the day I made money flipping houses, it was 16 months. 16 months. I was working 70 hours a week valeting. I was taking 15 credit hours at a college, at a community college here. And then I was doing real estate, full time as well. I was probably putting in 40, 50 hours a week real estate. My days were 7 a.m. I was at valet, 2 a.m. I was going to sleep for 16 months straight. And I finally sold my first flip, made $103,000 net profit, and the rest was history.
That was it. You quit? Did you quit that day?
Surprisingly, I didn't. I didn't until my second flip, which was $40,000. 3 months later, and then I was done.
Man, I tell you what, though, there's so much patience and determination in that. I was just talking to a guy 2 or 3 days ago. I think so many people go through this same transition phase, right? They're like, how do I break free? How do I become a business owner? And what is that? When is that thing, right? Because I mean, how many people do we talk to that are like, I have a full-time job. I was talking to a guy yesterday. He's a full-time property manager. He's making decent income. He flips 5 or 6 houses a year. And he's like, when do I make the jump? When do I, and Steve Harvey has that great speech about like, you got to take a risk. You got to go after faith. So you hit your first deal for 105, 104 grand. You just said 103,000. And you still went and parked cars.
Still valeted, still went to school full time. And second deal was about 3-4 months later. And then I was like, hey, Ma, you're never going to see me walk across that graduation stage.
Oh, man.
Then I quit my job and went all in on it. So, I mean,
were you in college at that time too?
What did you say?
You were in college at that time too?
Yep.
Oh, so you dropped out of college.
Yep.
Something I didn't know about you.
Yeah, I grew up, always go to college, get a degree, get a good job. So I promised my mother I'd get my degree.
Yeah.
And then I made 150 racks in about a 3-month period. And I was like, Ma, this ain't it.
No college is gonna fix that, right? That was funny. I was watching a documentary the other day. It's like all the Zuckerberg, the Gates, all these guys. They all dropped out of college. They're all college dropouts, right? And like that's and look, nothing against college. If you're out there and you're hustling and you're getting your education and you're gonna get a great job on the back end of it. But look, I think that system is rigged, and I think it's ready to blow. Agreed,
100%. And I think this virus, people being home and having to learn from home, is going to be the breaker on it. I think it's done.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's really a great segue to what I was going to ask you here in a bit. Is people have had the opportunity. Let's say this: people have had excuses, right, for as long as I've been alive. Of I'll do it when I have the time. I'll do it when I have the time. I'm going to get better when I have the time. I'm going to read the book when I have the time. I'm going to, go to night school when I have the time, right? But now all the excuses have lifted, right? Yeah. They can't. You can't say you don't have the time because we all have the time, right?
Agreed.
What have you changed in the last 6-8 weeks since you've had the time, right?
100%. And when I say this is a blessing, I don't mean people dying from the virus, just to be clear. But this is a blessing. The world has never been this still, and I don't think ever will be this still ever again. So you have all the time in the world to do anything you want. So, for me, I was stuck in the hustle day to day of real estate. We were making good money, but like that was it. I was grinding. I was trying to grow that thing. And this made me realize something can change like that, literally like overnight. So I've ventured off and became a true entrepreneur and started other businesses. So I've been investing a lot of I used to have all my money in real estate, all of it, literally never invested in anything else. So I've separated, made a couple other investments into some different companies, into stocks, into some e-com businesses. So to generate more revenue in case something like that happens again.
Yeah.
So opening my mind to other opportunities. And figuring out how to really truly streamline something, hiring the right people and finding a way to get out of the business.
Well, I mean, you've effectively created multiple streams of income for yourself in a downturn, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's a pivot, right? I think all great leaders have to learn to pivot. I mean, we're pivoting. We started pivoting a year ago, but this just forced the pivot faster, right? Yep. So tell me how it's made some of your businesses better, or you said e-com, you're getting into stock trading, like where does that, where do you see that going long term?
Yeah, so stocks I think is more of like us as entrepreneurs, we see things at 75% off, like we're going to make money, what I mean? So I don't think day trading and stocks is like a long-term play for me.
Yeah.
But right now I'm trying to make money when I can because shit's moving, everywhere. So that to me is a temporary thing. But I'm trying to figure out a way to truly, truly, truly make passive income. Like rental properties, it's passive. It's not passive. You got to manage the manager if you have a manager. So there's always something you got to be doing on it. So I want as passive money as possible. So I've been purposely reaching out to people to get affiliate links to stuff. Mm-hmm. You send a text message, you get paid. That's passive. You start an e-com business and you partner with somebody that runs the store and you front the money. That's passive.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to focus on. Like, truly, how can you get passive? And like all this time, like honestly, I've had like a lot of anxiety the last month and a half, because I always hear about people talking about 2008, and I wasn't around them. But everybody's got regrets. Everybody wishes they would have done this or would have done that or would have done more. And that's like my biggest fear right now. Is like looking back 5 years from now, like, oh, like I should have done this. Like a big thing written on the board right in front of me is I wish I would have done blank in 2020 during the coronavirus.
Oh God, that is powerful, man. Seriously, staring at that question, you know, I used to have that question, am I living to my full potential, like written on the wall in my office? But that's another one. Like, are you, you know, what will you regret missing out on in 2020? I mean, look, guys, here's the thing. I mean, we could be what, 3 weeks away from this thing going away altogether. Yeah. You know, God, no one has a crystal ball, right? But, you know, we could be back in it again in the fall. A lot of people are predicting, but the fact is, this is a game changer. And you know, I'm with you, Austin. I think a lot of people, I know a lot of people are suffering. I know a lot of people financially hurting. I know there's a lot of businesses going through difficulty. Our businesses are having challenges as well. Like, I think we're all on that same page, some way, shape, or form. And a lot of people are afraid to admit it. But at the same token, what other opportunity have we had like this? Not in my lifetime, not in your lifetime.
Never, bro.
Yeah.
Never.
Very, very.
Every single person that went through 08, not ever. I mean, you know this. Mark said this. Nobody that I've ever spoken to has ever said, I wish I would have done less.
Yeah.
Nobody. Ever.
and so that actually transitions me to a great question, because we both raised tons of private money, right? Yep. We've been through that. I'm raising right now for one of our development deals, and I'm having 3 times as many as I used to have, because people are right now sitting on their wallets. They're waiting for the next best thing. Like, not sure if I'm going to ride the market back up. You know, my financial advisor tells me I got to leave the money in there. You know, it's good. When it comes down, it's obviously inevitably going to go back up. So what are you seeing on the private lending side of things, and conversations you're having on that side, and money raising?
Yeah, no, phenomenal question. I've been raising for years, but a lot of people that have been with me for years, when it comes time to reinvest, we pay them off and we present them with another opportunity. A lot of them are getting cold feet.
Yeah, we're getting that now too. You know, your money coming back next week. What do you want? Normally it's like, where's the next deal?
Yeah, like, keep it. I don't want it. Now they're like, all right, give it to me.
Yeah.
And it's just weird. Like, we've made people a lot of money for years and years. Like, I'm paying somebody $38,000 on one loan in interest.
Yeah.
Like, we made people crazy money, and now they're getting cold feet. You know.
Yeah.
Like, so what I'm seeing is some people getting cold feet backing out. You know, not yet has anybody actually backed out. I've been able to talk them off that cliff. Because we're investing in real assets. Like, we have a piece of real estate at 60 cents on the dollar. Like, we're not buying a stock at 100% of the dollar value. And, you know, having conversations with new people, you know, a lot of people are saying the same thing. Well, I can't pull out of the market now. You know, I had lost too much. I got to ride this wave back up, and then, you know, then I'll be interested. Yeah. But having these conversations, though, plants the seed. You know, raising money is, you know, an all day, everyday thing. So plant the seed now, in a week or a month or 6 months from now, like, those conversations are going to come back around.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I think everything's going to be paused a little bit. We've got to re-engineer the conversation, right? People, you know, especially people that took a hit in the stock market and are now timid. You know, I had one of my investors the other day tell us that he's got some government-backed bonds, you know, making 4.5%. He's going to put his money. I'm like, what are you talking about? You know, but you know, I think it's logical for people to get a little bit reserved in some time like this, and you know, pitching the right opportunity, real estate backed, asset backed, you know, is always going to change that conversation for them.
Agreed, but like, times like this is when, like, people shrink and people expand. I've invested more money into additional businesses than I ever have in multiple years combined in the last 30 days. Yeah. So, like, hopefully I come out ahead of this thing. But like, in times like this, like, that's when there's opportunity. People that are going to be sitting on the sidelines are going to miss the wave, in my opinion. You know, I don't know what that wave is yet or when that wave is coming, but if you're in the game, you're going to catch one of the waves. Absolutely.
So again, those are watching. Maybe you're catching the replay. Post your questions in the comments. We got Austin Rutherford on talking real estate investing, wholesale, day trading, e-commerce, private money lending. So if you guys have questions about those topics, post them below. Austin, how about your staff, your people? I know you got a lot of great people that work for you. How are you making that transition happen? Are you paying people? Did you furlough anybody? What does that look like inside your business?
For sure. A great question. So our team's, the same that it was, 3 months ago. We've actually hired one additional person. So things are the same. People are still getting paid, as they produce and everything. Our tier is a lot commission based.
Mm-hmm.
There's not that many people that have a full-time salary type of thing. So nothing's changed for us. Nothing at all. I've actually been giving bonuses for people producing more.
Yeah.
And paying them what they were already owed. So nothing's really changed too much for us. I mean, mindset, we're talking about mindset all the time to make sure people are still pushing. But as far as pay, nothing's really changed.
And how about conversations on the wholesale side or the investment side with sellers, buyers? You guys still putting deals together? I know you're getting ready to do an acquisitions training. How does that training look different today than it did maybe 90 days ago?
Yeah. So now you have to be virtual. You know what I mean? There's people won't even let you into the house to inspect the house. Buyers won't, throw 100 offers at you because there's not as many buyers in the pool right now. So the whole process has changed, setting the expectations on the front end with the seller, making sure that you set clear expectations, how to get pictures, when we're going to get pictures, if we need walkthroughs, if we don't need walkthroughs. So the entire front end has changed, just the expectation side of things. And then the back end, the conversations with end buyers are different because a lot of people, would use hard money or, a HELOC or a refi or private money, but none of that's really secure anymore. Even private money lenders are pulling out, unless you have cash sitting in the bank, nothing's guaranteed. So those conversations are different. You got to dive deeper into how they're funding. Usually we'll just ask how are you funding it? They'll be like, well, private money or cash. Okay, cool. Well, where's that money coming from? You need to put hard money, non-refundable earnest money deposit up. Well, why do I need to do that? So those conversations have changed as well. So it's still get a deal, sell a deal.
Yeah.
But the pieces together have changed.
So I love the future pacing of the deal, right? Setting the right expectations, explaining what's going to happen, how's it going to happen, those type of things. What can you get a little bit more granular on the seller side, and then I'm going to ask you to do it on the buyer side. What are we setting differently? I get access and all that type of thing, but are you putting your closing dates out longer? Are you setting due diligence longer? How are you changing those?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we're pushing out 60-day business day contracts now, which is really 70, 80 days. So that conversation, is relatively simple. Just hey, as you see on the news, things change every day. We're going to push this out as far as we can. With that, the inspections go in the same extension. So we're extending that out because we've got deals now we've had for 3 weeks that we can't even get pictures of.
Gotcha.
Because people don't want us in the property. So setting those expectations as far as closing, just so everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
And then pictures, getting them to send us pictures. Tenants aren't even letting people in the property at times now as well. So just having that conversation saying, hey, just so you know, we need pictures. Oh, well, we really can't get pictures right now. We don't want you in the property. Okay, no problem. That's why we have a 60-day closing. So, 30 days from now, once we're allowed into the property, we can make that decision at that point. So just being very I see most deals fall out because the expectations aren't set properly. The timelines aren't set. They're trying to figure out why you haven't closed in 7 days when you have a 60-day closing.
Yeah.
So having those conversations on the front end is very, very important because it keeps everybody on the same page going forward. So that's kind of what it's looked like on the seller side. And then on the buyer side, it's just being very, very clear on where their money's coming from and the timelines of closing. Once a buyer pulls the trigger, they shouldn't have any delays. There's no reason in them delaying it.
I mean, are you digging deeper on that? Are you calling the hard money lender? Are you calling the private lender? Are you verifying the loans?
Not the private money, no. But I'll call the hard money loans for sure. And if they say they need 20% down, I'm getting the 20% proof of funds from the buyer, showing that they have the liquidity in the bank.
Right, someone want 40% down right now.
Yeah, people, 100%.
Yeah.
So, but private money, I won't call them, but I will make them put. We used to get $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 non-refundable. Now we're getting 5 to 10 to make sure they don't walk away from the deal.
Same here. And we're building that same pipeline, right? So I think we have 24 deals under contract and 8 or 10 of them need inspection still. Do you foresee a big boom 30 days from now when people start, all this stuff starts, okay, we're going to have our inspectors go through. It's the week opens up. Do you see that huge end of May, April, June,
Yeah, I don't. I think this is going to keep dragging out. Even when they lift everything, like if Monday came out and they said everything's back to normal, people still aren't going to be leaving their houses. Like there's still a lot of people living in fear. So I think it's going to be something we're going to have to deal with for months and months and months.
Well, that leads to another question. I mean, nobody has a crystal ball, but do you see do you see a recession, a micro recession? Do you see long term? Like, what do you think is going to happen? The reaction to all this?
Man, I mean that is the question of the century right now.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion, I think the market is adjusting and will continue to adjust. Things are definitely changing. You're seeing money tighten up as far as lending, chase, and stuff like that, which leads to less buyers at the end of the day, less demand. It means price drops. So I don't personally think we're going to go to a 50% crash or anything like that. But 1, 3, 5, 7%, something like that. I think we're in the midst of it already. But that is the question of the century.
It's interesting. I talked to a private lender yesterday, and he was talking about his other deals going out, and he said, the market's on fire. If you put up a fix and flip and you put it on the market at the right price, it's going to be sold in 2 days, which is, I don't think he's wrong. We had that happen last weekend in one of our deals.
Yeah.
I think that's a byproduct of people can only access the vacant houses, or do you think that there really is going to be a pent up demand for housing?
So we're flipping too. Like we wholesale. So any really small $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 rehabs, we're still taking those down, and we've been listing those over the last 6 weeks. And we've had multiple offers, 1 to 2 days, offers over asking price. So we're seeing the same thing. Like the retail side is booming right now.
Yeah.
My fear is Chase already tightened up the lending, and if others follow suit, that's when I think the problem can come. If nobody else changes the lending guidelines, we might be good. What I mean? The other question is, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, when people go to try and buy houses and they were let off and they were unemployed for these 30, 60 days, how are banks going to look at that? Are they still going to allow you to qualify? Or you got to have a whole nother 2 years of proof of income?
Yeah, I had my buddy Carmen on the show last week, and he runs a nationwide mortgage franchise in multiple locations. And he was saying that number one, the credit restrictions are going to change, right? They went from 580 to 640 already.
Yep.
He said that the unemployment thing, if you're laid off and you're not actively, they're going to do verification of income, verification of employment. If you don't have employment, then you're going to lose your loan. And then I learned something last night, which was probably one of the scariest things I had heard. Somebody posted that another mortgage guy that I respect, and he said in the last 24 hours he had 2 deals fall apart because people had furlonged. What are they? No, that's not furlough. When you stop paying your mortgage.
Oh, forbearance.
Yeah, they did the forbearance, right? As I'm sure a lot of Americans are doing, because they look at it as automatically get my payments, put them at the end of the loan. That forbearance will keep you from qualifying for your loan. So if you're out there looking to shop for a house and you're selling your existing house and you did a forbearance, you're not qualified for the new house again.
That's the first time I've heard that. That's crazy.
It hit me too. Yeah.
Didn't they, why? Because I heard that they weren't reporting that to the bureaus.
So I don't know if it's a reporting thing or an underwriting thing, but I can tell you that I guess the mortgage company looks at you as a risk if you're going to forbearance, do forbearance on your mortgage. But I've said to a lot of people, if you can pay your bills, pay your bills.
Absolutely. It's real quick here.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about hey, you don't got to pay rent, you can't get evicted. Hey, don't got to pay your mortgage, you're going to forbearance.
Yeah.
That is the wildest, because we don't know what the repercussions of those things are. Like we're talking about right here, that's a game changer.
Yeah, so we're all guessing.
Yeah. So there's obviously people that literally cannot pay, and I understand that. That's for those people. Take that opportunity. But people that are just let me save some money. No, pay your bills. That money's still owed.
And I gotta tell you, I've been asking this question to a lot of people, and I'll ask you the same question. You have tenants. How many of your tenants paid on April? Paid, you expect to pay on May? Have you seen a massive change in 3 months ago?
Yeah, so we have 30, and all but 3 paid for April. So pretty good rate in my opinion for right now. And those 3 were hospitality workers, so they all got laid off.
Yeah,
they've made some payments along the way, so we're working with them. my opinion, I think the next 7 days will be a really telltale, because when April rent came, people were still getting their last check. You know, people were just getting laid off. Now we have a whole month of no income.
Agreed. Yeah.
This is going to be the telltale. The next 7 days is going to be the telltale.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, our governor just basically said that landlords have the right to start using security deposits to pay rent. I think that's going to be a big game changer.
Wow.
Scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a game changer. And I think people will go ahead.
What do you do afterwards? Do they redeposit the security deposit?
Nobody's thinking about what happens afterwards. Nobody's thinking about that tenant moving out. And you know, you've been through it. How many of your tenants just completely fuck up your apartment building?
Absolutely.
You know, they got $1,500 on deposit, and you spend $4,500 cleaning the place up after they're done. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it's nuts. Now, I will make I'm almost sure about this. So, you know, nobody for you legal beagles that are out there, and you want to put an asterisk next to what I'm about to say.
Disclaimer,
right? Like I'm pretty confident the way the way the bill is written, he's saying that landlords have the right to take, if they need to cover the income. It's not that the tenant can say, "Oh yeah, take my deposit." Like it's the landlord's choice.
Got it.
But at the end of the day, so I guess it's the landlord's responsibility at the end of what happens, because the deposit is used to pay rent. But that being said, you're right. I believe May is going to be a big game changer. We had 98% rent collection so far. I think it's from being proactive and telling the tenants what to expect and how we can help them, and offering them the ability and so forth. So we've had very few tenants actually take advantage of that, but that was it.
What, just curious, are you mostly like A, B, or C class?
We're mostly A and B class. I have a couple apartment buildings where people are paying $700 to $900 a month, but then most of it's like single families, 15 and up.
Yeah, no, mine's A and B, and from what I've been hearing, most of that, if you're like super A class, like you're being hurt right now, but like A- to B to B plus, like what I've been seeing, most people are still collecting at a high rate. Yeah, I think super high and then super low is the areas that are hurting right now.
I can imagine, especially, I mean, there's so many things that go into that, but I think you're probably right. I've heard from guys that have, 3,000-4,000 units that they're getting 90-some% collection. So, again, I think it's different to see what people are getting, what they're using it on, and how they're going to sustain. Austin, I don't want to cut you off. We got a minute and a half left. Anything I didn't ask you, anything you want to talk about? I know you got an acquisitions training coming up. Do we want to post some links on that?
Yeah, I got the link. I'll drop it in the comment section. But it's a 3 or 4 hour training basically on acquisitions and that entire closing process, how to set the proper expectations, how to get the pictures, how to secure your buyer on the back end. So that whole process from contract to close is what we're going to be going over. So it's $97. I mean, it's $97 for 3-4 hours. So I'll drop the link in the comment there.
Awesome. And when does that go down?
May 13th, Wednesday, May 13th.
Wednesday, May 13th, 3 hours, solid content, how to buy properties off market, right? How to lock them up, how to set great expectations and do deals. Austin Rutherford, man, thanks for being on the show.
Absolutely, brother. Appreciate you having me on, man.
All right, man. We'll catch you a little bit.
All right.